Hello everyone. This is Servite Friar Father Richard Boyle, and I am in Forli, Italy. I arrived here on Monday the 28th, and today's Friday the 2nd of May, and this is the birthplace of St. Peregrine Laziosi, our wonderful Servite saint and brother who is the patron saint of all those with cancer. I've been putting up YouTube videos and will continue to put up YouTube videos for the extent of my 3-month long trip here in Italy. I hope that this is a way that you will all be able to enjoy this trip with me. So I am standing at the moment. I thought this would just be an interesting, here it is what it is video. I'm standing in front of the train station in Forli. This is this lovely big building, and in larger cities, and Forli is a town of about 115,000 people, so it's not just a village, it's a good-sized town, has very, very large buildings and lots of services that we would all find normal, except it's all clearly Italian style, and that does make a difference. And since I'm half Italian, my prejudice is that it makes a wonderful difference in coming from America. So here I am in the front. I thought I would give you just a little bit of a short tour of what a typical train station would look like here in Italy, in a town about the size of Forli. So here is the front. If you walk out, you're going to see some very large buildings there, and a really big building there. It goes really all the way down the block. And this is the little piazza that is in front of the station, and there are the taxis ready to pick you up and take you wherever you would like to go in this wonderful town. And I just heard behind me a visitor coming in and greeting those who were picking him up with big hugs and smiles and some other things they were saying. I don't know, they were speaking a foreign language and it wasn't Italian. So here again is the building. Let's take a walk inside, just do a little spin around. I came here today actually for a purpose. I needed to check in with my Eurail pass, which I had to make sure was validated properly before I could use it. I will be leaving here on this coming Tuesday and taking the train back to Rome, where I will stay for maybe a week or two at least, not merely because we have Servite places in Rome, but it happens to be the time when the conclave to elect the new pope will happen. And I thought, what a blessing, what a piece of good fortune to be here at the time of this historic event. This is something you can't really plan. You're either here or you're not, and if you do come at the last minute, you're probably going to pay a pretty penny. So I'm really lucky that I have a place to stay at our college, our theology institute, the Collegio Sant'Alessio Falconieri, where I studied theology about 45 or 46 years ago. So here we are walking inside, and of course that's me. Don't you recognize me from my shadow? Well, I would think you would. What I like about this is that I look about 6 feet 2 inches tall, when in fact I'm only 5'6", so maybe I should just live in my shadow instead. And I hope you're chuckling at that point. So here we walk inside the station. It's immediately a place which is very, very busy. That is the entrance to the various tracks, and you'll see the sign up above. The stairs go up to binario, that's the word for track 1, depending on which way you're going, and then the stairs to tracks 2 and 3. Over here you find something which is also rather typical in all train stations. You're going to find a little place where you can go get a coffee or a refreshment, even sandwiches in there. I myself had a wonderful little espresso. And by the way, if I haven't shared this with you already, when I ordered the espresso, and now I'm used to it, it cost €1.30. That would translate to about $1.50 in American money. You know, things are expensive everywhere, and here in Italy too, things are expensive. But to get a little coffee, an espresso, is one of the cheapest things you can do, or I should say least expensive, not cheap. And it's just a part of life. It doesn't take long. You go up, you order, it's there on the counter in about a minute. You drink it in a minute. You just sip, and it's done. and then you move on to the rest of the day. But the fact that it only costs that little to do it, and it's fascinating and wonderful, and it's part of the pleasure of being here. So here's the rest of the lobby. There are the ticket windows, and I went up to that ticket window right there where I started. I apologized for my broken Italian and started to speak in Italian to the gentleman who's sitting in there, and he said, "I speak English. What do you need?" So there was another surprise. And since I needed something rather official, I defaulted to my rather good English instead of my faulty Italian in order to make sure that I got the right validation for my pass. So it turned out that as I was explaining it, he looked at the tickets I already had, because you have to make a reservation on some of the trains. And he said, "Oh no, you don't need any further validation at all. There's a QR code on the ticket. That's all you need. You're fine." And I said, "And what about my passport?" And he said, "Well, if you're asked for it, you'll have to show it. But other than that, you're ready to go." So that was that. I couldn't believe how easy it was and how polite the gentleman was, young fellow. And I was done. So I thought, I've got a little bit of extra time. I think maybe I will do a little video and tour people around the station. Let me show you this little bar cafeteria that I went into. And you can see that it's sort of a general kind of a thing. And they have all kinds of little snacks that you would want to get, and some beautiful brioche, and some lovely sandwiches right there, and a cooler full of beer and soda and tea and all the rest of what you would want to slake your thirst. And over here, the fantastic and wonderful espresso machine being attended to by this young lady who helped me and got me my espresso very, very quick. You can even have a drink if you want, and there's the bar. So there's nothing like a limit on being 21 to come into a bar in Italy. You just walk in. Now, I think the legal drinking age is 18, but it's obvious and it's very unofficial here. They don't really card you much unless there's a real concern. But everything is right up front and very, very normal, easy to manage. So that's what these train stations look like. This is the vending machine if you know exactly what kind of a ticket you want, and it's a local train. You can just get one right out of that kiosk. There's a couple more over there. And so for the moment, I think that's about it. I'm going to avoid, at least at this moment, going all the way up to the tracks. You can see there must have been a train that just arrived because there's all these people coming down from the stairs. But I will get into the arrival and departure of trains in due course. As I said, I'm leaving on Tuesday to go back to Rome, and I'm going to be on 2 connecting trains, and they are the high-speed Frecciarossa, which translates as Red Arrow trains, and that will be another video for sure. So if you like this video, of course, subscribe and like. Tell all your friends that you're on a trip to Italy with Father Richard, and get them to come along on the trip as well. I welcome everyone. As far as I'm concerned, on this trip, the more the merrier. That being said, I keep you all in my prayers every day. I ask you to keep me in yours, and I will end, as I'm trying to remember to end every video, with our Servite blessing, and that is, may the Blessed Virgin Mary watch over you with Christ her Son. Talk to you soon.